Hey everybody, what's going on? Hope you're having a great day. Today I'm making another YouTube video where I document my ongoing struggle with choking phobia and how I use basically exposure therapy to help me get over it. So how this begins is I write my anxiety before I do my exposure on a scale of 1 to 100. Then I do the thing that makes me, you know, fearful without not doing it. And then I rate my anxiety after completing it. Hopefully that number should go down from the beginning. So I'm gonna do that, and I have some videos lined up that you guys can watch while I do that. So without further ado, let's calibrate the anxiety. It's chicken strips. They're chicken strips, you know. So definitely looking at a bit higher anxiety. Honestly, I feel I think no more than like a 10, 12 at most. 10, 12. I'm gonna go with 10 out of 100. I'm gonna do the exposure, and while I do that, you guys can watch different things about phobias, and we'll talk about these things afterwards, and anything else on my mind. All right, here we go.
A phobia is a type of anxiety disorder. It is a strong, irrational fear of something that poses little or no real danger. There are many specific phobias. Acrophobia is a fear of heights. Agoraphobia is a fear of public places, and claustrophobia is a fear of closed-in places. If you become anxious and extremely self-conscious in everyday social situations, you could have a social phobia. Other common phobias involve tunnels, highway driving, water, flying, animals, and blood. People with phobias try to avoid what they are afraid of. If they cannot, they may experience panic and fear, rapid heartbeat, shortness of breath, trembling, a strong desire to get away. Phobias usually start in children or teens and continue into adulthood. The causes of specific phobias are known, but they sometimes run in families. Treatment helps most people with phobias. Options include medicines, therapy, or both.
Lucy and I'm terrified of spiders. I've been ever since I can remember, so today I'm going to have hypnotherapy and after 2 hours hopefully hold a tarantula. The things that scare me about spiders is how quickly they run. In fact, they have 8 legs, that's just not normal, and how hairy they are.
This one here is a salmon pink. You'd have to look pretty hard to see it. It doesn't even look like a tarantula.
Oh, that's right.
Yeah?
Okay.
So that was the easy one.
What are your beliefs about?
In this clip, we'll talk about cognitive behavioral therapy as one of the many treatments for a phobia. As we know, some of the other treatments are medication therapy and exposure therapy.
So part of doing this show is that I have to put my money where my mouth is, and I have a little confession to make. I have a bit of trouble with driving. I've conquered most of it, but there's 2 things that I avoid at all costs, and that is driving over the Westgate Bridge, and the other one is driving down the Great Ocean Road.
So there's usually something about a particular situation that triggers the anxiety. What do you notice triggers that for you?
I think it's the history of when I was... There you go, make me cry. When I was having a really bad time with anxiety. As soon as I'd leave my house, my palms would be sweating and I'd be feeling awful. And in the end, I just thought it's not worth it. I'll just drive around. So I've done that for about 10 years now.
Okay, and it sounds like something to do with heights in a way, is it? Is it driving in a situation where there's a height?
It feels like a combination of when I'm up at that height, I get a sense of, I don't know if it's vertigo or almost like an out-of-body feeling as well.
And this is one of the main things, allowing yourself to feel some anxiety when you face that situation. It's what we call using a coping approach rather than a mastery approach. And the coping approach means saying to yourself, look, I might feel bad, but I can handle that. This is worth doing, and I've got some ways to help me get by. Ready?
No?
That's the way it is. You'll be fine.
Oh dear.
Well, Angie, so far so good. Even despite the discomfort that's been there, we're heading to the more windy part now, aren't we?
Yeah. Oh, my sock. I'm sorry.
Not at all.
These parts are fine. Like when I'm enclosed with trees around me, I feel fine. But as soon as I get up to the bits that are a bit.
Good on you, because you're not taking that escape route of fleeing the situation.
Yeah.
You're hanging in there. Good on you. You're managing with it.
I must admit, I was surprised by how emotional my reaction was to facing this fear. I mean, it seems ridiculous. Rationally, I know there's nothing going to happen to me, but emotionally, my insides were screaming, "Get the hell out of there!"
Oh, I feel like a bit of tension's leaving me.
Right, well, you're definitely past halfway now. So that's an achievement in itself, isn't it?
Oh, yes. I really think it's the anticipation and the build-up of not having done it for so long that makes it seem worse than what it probably is. See, even now that view coming up, I can look at that and I'm not panicking how I was at the start. Wow. I didn't think that would happen.
That's great.
And just when I thought I could celebrate, Chris suggests I cement the experience by going it alone. Seriously?
Genuinely sense that you're ready for that, because it's just a short next step.
Okay.
Yeah.
Righto, as long as you're on speed dial.
Great.
What's the old saying? Feel the fear and do it anyway? Anxiety can be so debilitating, and the natural reaction is to want to avoid the triggers at all costs and hide away from the world. One thing I have learned over time is that only makes things worse, so bit by bit I've been chipping away at it, but this was one of the last things I hadn't dealt with.
I actually can't believe how instant it is that I'm feeling that much better about the whole drive.
Hey, you did it, Angie. What's that like?
I must admit, that was a roller coaster. That was pretty crazy. I am surprised by my reaction to the whole experience.
It wasn't easy.
I really am glad I did it, because now I actually feel, I just feel like a weight's come off my shoulders in some way.
Well, it's great taking that in, because it is a new memory.
Yes.
Hey, I can handle this.
Yes.
That's a great way of dealing with anxiety, to feel uncomfortable, bear with it, and then realise, hey, I've done that. And this is about the most important time, taking it in at the end of it.
Yes, high five. Just next time I went to my psychologist, see things beside me.
Feeling anxious or panicky is nature's way of protecting us from situations that threaten our survival. Anxiety reactions.
Because now I actually feel, I just feel like a weight's come off my shoulders in some
Fantastic.
way.
Well, it's great taking that in, because it is a new memory.
Yes.
Hey,
Just next time I went to my psychologist, see things beside me.
Feeling anxious or panicky is nature's way of protecting us from situations that threaten our survival. Anxiety reactions motivate us to fight or to flee from danger. The problem is that feelings of panic can be triggered by imagined threats, such as fears of disapproval or failure. We can become stuck in worrying about anxiety and trying to avoid it. Helpful coping strategies include slow breathing, calming self-talk, and observing how our reactions tend to settle over time. If anxiety is especially persistent, it helps to seek psychological therapy to develop further coping strategies. Try saying that one. Welcome back. For the last 9 years, Kelly Girardi has been a prisoner in South Auckland. She's not in jail, but suffers from a form of agoraphobia. She's unable to travel too far from home if she gets stuck in traffic and can't get home. She panics, her arms go numb and she can't breathe. Trouble is, she wants to go to her brother's wedding in October and needs help. Here's Emma Keeling with Kelly's story.
So physically, what happens to you? I can't catch my breath. I get the shakes. I can feel my heart beating. I get tunnel vision. My hands go numb. The symptoms of Kelly Garrity's agoraphobia. Not only on my legs, my stomach is all tied up in knots. She's driving with her sister to Pakuranga. It's only 20 minutes from home, but she's already way out of her comfort zone. So what is your fear? Not being able to get home, to be getting stuck and not being able to get back to where I feel safe and comfortable and in control. Kelly thinks her condition started with a neck injury in May 2000. For 5 months she was completely dependent on other people. Since then she hasn't left South Auckland once. Very funny actually, I lost the sister that I knew for another sister that I had to get to know again. That different. Over the past few months, Sister Kate has been making Kelly go driving every Saturday morning. It's helped push her boundaries. I won't go into Mangere. I won't go past Mount Wellington, Drury, those sort of East Tamaki, into Hawake. Yeah. Only her sister is allowed to help. So can we come into the car with you? No. Why is that? I don't like other people in the car with me because if I do freak out, I'll probably kill them. So we hand over the handycam to Kat to see just what happens. She refuses to go on the motorway, even on her motorbike, which she bought so she could always get out of the traffic jam. 25 minutes later, it's over and she's exhausted. Yeah, I'm not comfortable, I'm not happy at the moment. But jittery. My stomach is all tied up in knots. I've got a tension headache, which I've never had before. Kelly is sick of feeling like this. What's more, in October, her brother is getting married on the outskirts of northwest Auckland. It's over here. It's not even in my map book. I don't want to miss it, you know, it's my little brother's wedding. And that's why Kat got in touch with us. She'd seen a story about phobia therapist Anthony Gunn on Campbell Live. His book helps to cure phobias in 90 minutes. So we asked him to come to New Zealand to help Kelly.
It's not the traffic that actually scares you, but it's how your body's going to respond to it.
There's a tiny piece of the brain the size of a pea that controls phobic thoughts.
Now, the problem is with the amygdala, it's not interested in logic or reason or rationality. All it does is it tells you to either fight or run.
Agoraphobia can't be treated in 90 minutes. It's one of a few that can never be cured. Instead, the sufferer must learn to control it. Fighting it only makes it worse, as is shown when Kelly is shown a fragile finger trap. I won't put my fingers on that.
Okay, yeah, because what do you imagine is going to happen?
Oh, my fingers will get stuck.
And what will happen then?
I don't want my fingers to be stuck.
And what would happen then?
Oh, I've got no idea. I don't want my fingers stuck in there.
Yeah, that sounds like a classic phobia thought. Classic phobia thought.
Gunn uses 3 things to change Kelly's phobia habits: a heart monitor, a comfort rating scale, and identifying exactly when she's having phobic thoughts.
Where's your heart? 104. Okay, so it's gone up a little bit. That's all right. That's all right. Now, the anticipation is going to be far worse than actual experience. You're like the finger trap.
As they head to Pukekohe, Kelly's phobic thoughts start to change.
When the old phobia thoughts no longer coming up, when new ones come up, that shows that you're beating it. We've made it to Pukekohe.
Yeah.
But you've achieved a lot. So not only have you had myself in the car, but also the cameraman.
Yeah.
You know? So what do you think we should do now?
I think we should try the Bombay. I've got the dog right now. They make it to the Bombay Hills. It's Kelly's first visit in over 5 years.
What do you make of that?
Isn't that fantastic? I feel a bit flat, actually.
I think it's a bit of a letdown. It should have been more than that.
It should have been more than that, yeah. Kelly's teaching her brain to think differently, but she's about to be really tested when she agrees to travel on the motorway. Her phobia is fighting it. Come on, Susie. Just leave me.
I know. You're doing well. You're doing really well.
Oh, you can do it. I'm thinking I should just keep going to Paperberry. One more. Just one more. It's like gambling. It's so addictive.
Yeah, brilliant. So brilliant. And keep in mind,
to what she's actually achieved today. For people out there that don't have a phobia, what Kelly has done is similar to someone playing Russian roulette. She has faced a huge fear. It takes a lot of courage what she's done today.
Kelly has achieved 10 things that just a few hours ago seemed impossible. Surprised at how easy the day went, Kelly's now confident she'll be there for her little brother.
To be able to do the whole thing with them, which will be great, because they obviously want to speak to you to be there. So I might just pull up. Oh, here I am. Surprise them. Yeah, I'm your wedding present.
So my anxiety for the food I was eating, chicken nuggets, fries, it went from 10 to a 0. This is great. It's awesome. I hope you guys understood a lot about exposure, and definitely about how there are a lot of people like us who have these specific phobias. You think your phobia is too specific? Look at the ones you listed. Having to deal with water, animals, driving, right? Heights. There's a gazillion categories. I have choking. I was diagnosed by a doctor with choking phobia. I didn't even know that was a thing. I honestly didn't know that was a thing until he said, you have choking phobia. And I thought he was just like describing my problem. He said, no, this is like, when I actually asked him about it, and I kind of just learned that that's actually a diagnosis. You guys got to know these things. These things are out there. There's people that are out there like us that share these fears in common. And this is the way to, long story short, get over them. The way is through exposure therapy. What I just did. I didn't want to eat this. Or I don't want to eat this. Thoughts going through, I'm going to choke. I'm going to choke and die. I'm going to die. I'm never going to eat again, right? All these horrible, I can't breathe. All the things he was mentioning in his video, the symptoms, I think it was the first or second video, they were mentioning symptoms of phobias, right? Heart trembling, sweating, right? And if you remember in this third video, with a woman who had trouble with driving, she said that after her traumatic experience, that kind of I think precipitated her driving phobia. She told me she didn't. Well, she told everyone on YouTube that she didn't leave her house, and that when she did leave her house to do whatever, because she absolutely had to, she would feel sweating on her palms, on her hands. So these are things that are real. These are things that happen to people who have anxiety, choking anxiety, any sort of phobic anxiety. And it's not something to be afraid of. It's not something to... hold on a second. I'm just going to be quiet for a second because I'm going through a public area. Just give me like a couple minutes. 1 second. Sorry guys, I'm stopping myself. Give me 1 second. As I was saying, this is common to have phobias. It's not something. It may make you feel alone. I know. Oh, great. Just 1 more second. Just give me 1 second. Hello? Yeah. Do you know whose car that is in front?
Well, that's my car.
Can you move it?
Yeah.
Thanks. Okay. As I was saying, phobias are common. They're not something to be. I don't know how to explain it. They're not something to be. Actually, you know what? I don't know. They're not something to be. You could say thought of as making you. I mean, phobias make you lonely. They're gonna make you lonely, and they're not real. They're not really So they're not really. Phobias aren't necessarily real. If you look at the thoughts they were talking about, like fear of driving, it's more of like a exaggerated fear more than an actual fear. And I found that to be very helpful to know that fear is overblown, because it gives you validity. It validates your opinions that the fear is real. It's just telling you that it's overblown. Sure, it's real, it's overblown though. It's a nice way of having them understand to a certain extent, like, how it feels to have a phobia that makes you feel like you're losing control. Okay, so let's see. If you look through those videos, there's one more thing I want to talk about. I touched about briefly before in the video, which is the traumatic experiences that one might have precipitating a phobia. If you look at my last video, we used the video before that. There was a guy who was fixing his air conditioner, and it was actually when he took the air conditioner unit off, he found a whole bunch of bees in there, and they like attacked him, and I don't know if he got stung or whatever. That's what precipitated his choking phobia. It caused trauma. If you look at this video, there was a traumatic experience whereby, what was it? You guys can look back in the video and see. It was something like, it had to do with driving. Like, I think she was, yeah, it had to do with, what was her phobia? Was it driving? Her phobia was something or other. Anyway, it had to do with like, I don't know if it was driving or it was you guys can look back in the video, but I mean, you guys can look at the video. You guys can look back in the video. I'm very, very confident there was a past traumatic experience in her life. She mentioned, I might even just mention it briefly. What was it? There was the driving. There was I think it was driving over bridges or under tunnels. Yeah, I was driving over like under tunnels, I think, or over bridges. I'm just trying to think. Like, I'm just trying to think, like, what exactly was her specific phobia? I think it was like passing out, or like fear, something on the road, and I do remember it. We can go back and look at it if you want to make a part two. I don't think it's gonna drive me too crazy. What I do want to establish, though, there's a huge correlation, if not direct link, in mental health between a phobia and a traumatic event that happened. Now, I have my own. I'll say it again, like I've been saying it through these videos. If, for example, no one's seen my video, about 2009, early 2009, late 2008, I was home. It was late, probably around 1:30 in the morning, and this is a time when I was dealing with some stuff, basically just things that, things people usually deal with, breakups, family, messy things, brothers. So as I'm eating my food, it was pierogies. To this day, I won't eat pierogies, and that might be a good exposure to get over. That's a good thing to get over. That might be something I want to touch on. I've talked about graded exposures and flooding exposures and how that's a good goal to get up to. Like, for example, if you're scared of bees, first look at bees and look at a documentary about bees, and maybe like look at a bee outside, then maybe walk around where bees are, then maybe let a bee crawl in your arm. I get that because it's debilitating. For me, I can live without eating pierogies for the rest of my life. It's just one of those things that is just too raw to actually uncover, and I don't feel myself being debilitated. It's not like we are forced to eat pierogies, right? On the other hand, we're in contact with bees, right, half the year. So this is something you got to understand. How does it affect your life? Can you live without pierogies and just let that wound just kind of like stay there and don't touch it? Or do you want to dig it up and learn more about yourself. I personally don't think that's good. You know, there should be a limit to certain psychological investigations, and even trying to help yourself. I mean, there should be a limit to even trying to help yourself, because there are some things that, you know, it's like you get it now. You get the trauma, you get why you do this, you get, you know, for example, my parents, my friends left me. That's kind of why I have these problems and the whole traumatic experience. So I don't think if you feel too overwhelmed with your phobia, and you're like, all right, I'm gonna make goals, and then you see like some of the goals are too high, just think first, what is your specific phobia? Can you live without doing this thing? For example, if it's driving and you're scared of like driving at night, well, that's something you might have to get over. If it's flying, right? There's ways to get around that. Right? There are ways to get around that. You can definitely bust it if you'd like. What I'm trying to say is you decide how much you want your anxiety to affect your life. Okay? And I don't know what I've never spoken to my doctor about the specific fear of pierogies. I think he would say try them. I just, you know, I don't see myself, because of my repeated exposure over the last 3 months, I'm not against this idea. I just feel like I need to focus more on like other things, because I think I've gotten the choking phobia down pat. Having said that, I'm very grateful for where I am, and I don't want to slip up, because the worst thing that could happen to me right now is me slipping up. Me slipping up and being like oh, I'm fine, I cannot make my videos for a week, and next thing, you know, that's maybe my worst fear, because then I will stop eating and I'll have to start from zero again, and you don't want those feelings again, because you already figured out how to deal with those feelings. That was good. I hope you guys enjoyed the videos, because I find it's very boring just watching me eat or listening to me chew. At the same time, I know you guys want to see the exposure. That's why I make the videos every day, to show you this is how I live my life. Psychology first type of life, like America first, not like psychology first, you know, like where I kind of have I begin with the type of like thing I want to get. And like, if you notice, I made my video very late today. I like to make videos almost at the same time almost every day, because I like to eat at the same time every day, because I know then my mental health will be like, that's it, checked off the box. And it's not saying that I'm not gonna have a good day, like I'm gonna have a good day or a bad day. I'm just saying that one of the things I want to get done that I should have gotten done a long time ago has been done, and it's been being done for the past 3 months. It feels like I'm being more organized in my head, you know? So it's very important to get over your phobias. If it's too hard, they've mentioned also as well, deep breathing exercises through your nose. I know for me, with my choking phobia, this helped me immensely. When you breathe incredibly slow through your nose, I'm talking very, very slowly. It should take at least a good 15 seconds just for you to breathe through your nose. Then you allow the air to come through your mouth and down to your throat. I've heard in spiritual philosophies, this is kind of like, I don't want to get into philosophies, I'm just saying that this is what I've noticed. I'm not going to get into it, because this is more of like a psychology channel. I'm saying, so you get to this part where the air gets to your base of your throat, and then you allow the air to just interact with the throat under your own control, right? Without giving up too much control. You just allow the air to get in there, feel okay. It's amazing when you deep breathe. It's amazing sometimes when I deep breathe. I don't do it a lot anymore. Second time I did it when I was really anxious, you'll see it, I was freaking out, and I just remembered what I had to do, and you just slow. I mean, there's no rush with anxiety. Where are you going? To get more anxious? There's no rush in doing these things. If it's going to take you 5 minutes to regain your breathing, it's going to take you 5 minutes to regain your breathing. What would you rather have? 23 hours and 55 minutes of being able to not breathe? You know what I mean? So these are important things to understand as well. I want to leave you guys with these important tips about anxiety. And I hope that's what I've done in this video. I hope they're getting better and better. I hope people watch these and are informed. Just remember, phobias are best tackled head on. If you prefer flooding therapy, go for it. Or like if you're scared of bees, just like, you know, just run into a pile of bees. You know what I mean? Like call up your nearest beekeeper and be like, I want to hang out with bees today. You know what I mean? I don't recommend that, because you got to be committed to actually waiting for your anxiety to come down. You got to be committed, not only to psychology, which is hard for some people, also committed to the anxiety coming down. You got to be committed to that. You got to stay until the anxiety comes down. That's why I don't recommend it. For most people like me, I prefer a gradual, graded exposure system. And I find that it works, right? I started with, at the beginning, remember I said in the beginning, I started with cheese and muffins. Start with cheese and muffins, right? Hard-boiled eggs, maybe. Then work your way up to the second step, potato chips, right? Then work it up again, rice. Then work it up again, tacos, nachos, right? Then work it up again, you know? Next thing you know, you're eating everything that you want to eat. So, I'm telling you guys, this is very important stuff to do. It's very, 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 very important. And for anyone who is suffering, do not suffer alone, because help is here. I'm not to help. I'm just saying, I'm trying to compile as much as I know. And look on YouTube. There's so many resources out there, you know? If you just give them a chance, if you follow what they say, exposure therapy, slowly expose yourself to the fears, you will feel bad, and then you will watch your anxiety come down. You saw the curve. So it goes up, and then it goes down. Thing is, we're too scared to realize it. We're really focusing on the up. We're too scared to realize that it's gonna eventually go down. It's just human biological instincts that the human body can't be scared for that period of time. Nature won't let the human body be scared for that long period of time. So what will happen? You will avoid the situation, which will make you worse, or you will go towards the situation, which will make you better. I want to end my video on that. Remember guys, stay with it.